Before we dive in, if you love true stories of unbreakable loyalty, cold strategy, and revenge that echoes through centuries, smash that like button right now. Share this with someone who values honor above all, and hit subscribe plus bell for more legendary tales. History tried to forget. Turn on notifications, because stories like this don't come around often. Let's begin. Picture this. You watch your lord, your master, your purpose, forced to plunge a blade into his own belly. Not for cowardice, not for crime, but because a powerful man insulted him, and the system protected the insulter. Your castle seized, your family scattered, your name stripped. You walk out a Ronin, masterless, worthless in the eyes of society. Rage burns inside you, but you don't lash out. You bow your head. You vanish into the shadows. You let the world believe you're broken for nearly 2 long years, because hot revenge fades in seconds. Patient revenge becomes eternal legend. This is the story of the 47 Ronin, the greatest act of vengeance ever recorded. Our story begins in the spring of 1701, at the very heart of a nation at peace. This is Edo Castle, the unbreachable fortress and administrative center of the Tokugawa shogunate. For nearly a century, the Tokugawa clan has ruled Japan with an iron fist, enforcing a rigid social order that has suppressed the constant warfare of previous eras. This period, known as the Genroku era, is a time of unprecedented cultural flourishing, of kabuki theater, woodblock prints, and decadent urban life. But beneath this veneer of prosperity and artistic expression lies a complex and unforgiving political world. The peace is maintained by a delicate yet absolute balance of power, and every action, every word spoken within these walls carries immense weight. This is a world governed by protocol, where honor is a currency more valuable than gold, and a single misstep can lead to absolute ruin. Into this gilded cage rides Lord Asano Naganori, the young daimyo of the rural Ako domain. A man of principle and a follower of the strict warrior code of Bushido, Asano is a provincial lord, more accustomed to the straightforward governance of his lands than the intricate, often duplicitous, dance of the shogun's court. He is in Edo as part of the system, the policy of alternate attendance that requires every daimyo to spend a portion of their time in the capital. This system is a brilliant tool of control for the shogunate, keeping the powerful lords under its watchful eye and draining their treasuries with the expense of maintaining 2 residences. For Asano, it is a duty to be performed with honor and diligence. This year, a particularly high honor has been bestowed upon him. He, along with another lord, has been tasked with receiving and hosting envoys from the imperial court in Kyoto. While the emperor is a figure of immense spiritual and symbolic importance, real power resides with the shogun in Edo. This reception is therefore a critical diplomatic ritual, a public affirmation of the shogun's respect for the throne. But court protocol is a labyrinth of unspoken rules, gestures, and phrases. The proper way to bow, the correct robes to wear, the precise gifts to offer. Every detail is codified and carries deep meaning. For a man like Asano, a so-called country lord, navigating this world is impossible without an expert guide. The success of the reception, and by extension his own honor, depends on mastering this complex etiquette. Enter Kira Yoshinaka, the shogunate's master of ceremonies. A high-ranking official from a prestigious family, Kira is the ultimate court insider. He holds the keys to the kingdom of protocol. His knowledge is indispensable, and he knows it. He is also, by all accounts, arrogant, condescending, and deeply corrupt. In the court of the shogun, it was common practice for those seeking instruction to offer gifts or lessons in the form of money. It was a thinly veiled system of bribery, a custom that Kira had come to expect as his due. Asano, a staunch Confucian and follower of Bushido, sees this practice for what it is: corruption. He believes that Kira, as a shogunal official, has a duty to provide his instruction. He offers the master of ceremonies the profound respect his station deserves. He offers no lavish gifts, no envelopes of cash. To Asano, his sincerity and dedication should be enough. It is a fatal miscalculation. Kira is personally and professionally insulted. He feels his authority has been challenged. His response is not to refuse instruction, but to sabotage it. He provides Asano with incomplete or incorrect information, setting him up for failure. And then, he mocks him openly. In front of other officials, Kira derides Asano's manners, his speech, his very presence. He calls him a country boor, a peasant pretending to be a lord, someone who doesn't know how to eat rice properly, let alone host imperial dignitaries. This is not a single event, but a campaign of relentless humiliation. Day after day, the insults continue, each one a deeper cut into Asano's honor. For a samurai, public shame is a wound far graver than any physical injury. Asano endures it all with clenched fists and a stone-faced mask of composure. He is a daimyo, a representative of his clan, and he cannot afford to lose control. He endures until one fateful moment in the great corridor of pines, on the final day of the reception. Kira delivers the final unforgivable insult, reportedly asking, "Hey, Lord of Akko, the knot on my sandal has come undone. Would you be so kind as to tie it for me?" In that instant, something inside Asano breaks. The weeks of suppressed fury, the relentless attacks on his honor, the violation of his deepest principles, it all boils over. The warrior code that demanded he endure the shame now screams for retribution. Rage explodes. "This is for the other day," he cries. Asano draws his wakizashi, the short sword that is the companion to the katana and the soul of the samurai, and strikes at Kira. He wounds his tormentor on the face and shoulder. It is not a fatal blow. The thick court robes and the immediate intervention of guards prevent a second, more decisive strike. Guards swarm, restraining Asano, their faces a mixture of shock and horror. The corridor, a place of serene formality moments before, is now a scene of chaos and blood. The act itself is shocking, but the location is catastrophic. To draw a weapon, to spill blood within the sacred confines of the shogun's palace, is the ultimate transgression. It is a direct assault on the authority of the shogun himself. It is unforgivable. The news flies to Shogun Tokugawa Tsunayoshi. Enraged at this breach of his law, he does not hesitate. He orders Asano to commit seppuku, ritual suicide, that very same day. There will be no trial. No investigation into Kira's provocations. The law is absolute. Asano drew his sword. Kira did not. In the eyes of the shogunate, only one man is guilty. There is no mercy. The sentence is swift and final, designed to make an example of Asano and reinforce the shogun's power. Asano, his rage now cooled into a tragic calm, obeys. As a samurai, he accepts his fate. He performs the ritual with dignity, composing a final death poem. More than the cherry blossoms inviting a wind to blow them away, I am wondering what to do with the remaining spring. The punishment does not end with his death. His rich domain of Akko is confiscated by the shogunate. His family is disgraced, his line effectively ended. The name of Asano is erased from the rolls of the daimyo, and his retainers, over 300 loyal samurai, are stripped of their purpose, their homes, and their master. Overnight, they become Ronin, masterless, drifting warriors in a society that has no place for them. For most, this is the end. They will scatter, find new work, and try to forget. But for 47 of them, the most loyal, led by their chamberlain Oishi Kuranosuke, this is not an ending. It is a beginning. They refuse to let their lord's memory be dishonored. They refuse to fade away. Meanwhile, their enemy, Kira Yoshinaka, who faced no punishment and whose provocations went unexamined, smirks. The scar on his face is a small price to pay for the destruction of his rival. He sees a dead lord and a scattered band of leaderless samurai. He thinks they're finished. He believes he has won. He has no idea that in the shadows, a vow has been made. A vow of vengeance that will take 2 years to fulfill and will shake the foundations of the Tokugawa shogunate. He has no idea what's coming. They gather in secret. Fury fills the room. Some scream for blood. Strike now. Others whisper fear. The shogun will crush us. Their leader, Oishi Kuranosuke, Asano's wise chief counselor, speaks calmly. If we attack in haste, we die as traitors. If we wait, we die as samurai. And our master's honor lives forever. Waiting means disgrace. Waiting means letting the world call them cowards. Waiting means spying on themselves, pretending loyalty died. They vote. They swear an oath in blood. They choose the harder path. Patience, deception, and revenge when the time is perfect. This is what elevates the story above every other revenge tale. They destroyed their own reputations on purpose. Oishi became a notorious drunk, gambling, brawling, sleeping in gutters. Spies watched. Reports flew back to Kira. The Ronin are finished. Pathetic. One became a merchant's lowly assistant. Another shaved his head, entered a temple as a monk. They endured mockery from former friends. Poverty, hunger, winter after winter. Kira's guards relaxed. His vigilance faded. Security thinned. Exactly as Oishi planned. For over 600 days they swallowed pride. Because true warriors fight with time as their ally. Slow, handheld reflection shot. Imagine the willpower. Could you live like that? Knowing every insult, every laugh at your fall was part of the plan? Then, the first heavy snow of the third winter. A simple message arrives for each man. When frost returns, the pine remembers. No names, no details. They know. Hidden armor is dug up, swords sharpened in silence, bows strung. They divide into squads. Front gate, back gate, archers on roofs. Orders clear. Spare women, children, the innocent. Target, Kira alone. They move like ghosts through the snow. The night of December 14th, 1702, by the lunar calendar, arrives under a heavy, silent blanket of snow. In the sprawling metropolis of Edo, the capital of the Tokugawa shogunate, the world seems to hold its breath. For nearly 2 years, 47 masterless samurai have waited for this exact moment. They have endured shame, poverty, and the scorn of a society that believed their honor was dead. They have played the part of drunkards, merchants, and monks, all to lull their target into a false sense of security. But tonight, their long, patient vigil comes to an end. The snow, a gift from the heavens, muffles the city's sounds, concealing their movements, and setting the stage for a final, chilling act of loyalty. Under the thick white veil, sound itself seems to vanish, swallowed by the cold. It is the perfect cover. In the darkness, they converge on the lavish mansion of Kira Yoshinaka, the high court official whose insult drove their master, Lord Asano, to his death. Every man knows his role. Every step is choreographed. This is not a wild mob seeking vengeance. It is a disciplined unit executing a sentence. There is no battle cry to announce their arrival. The only sounds are the crunch of snow under their straw sandals and the whisper of the wind. There is no room for chaos. Oishi Kuranosuke, their leader, has spent months meticulously planning every detail, using smuggled blueprints of the mansion to map out their assault. Every action is defined by precision. A single drumbeat will signal the attack. A whistle will confirm Kira's death. At Oishi's signal, the front group, led by his own son, storms the main gate with a battering ram. Simultaneously, Archers take their positions on the rooftops, their arrows ready to pin down any reinforcements from neighboring estates. Their job is to isolate the battlefield completely. As chaos erupts at the front, the back group scales the rear wall, entering the compound with ghost-like stealth. The two-pronged attack is perfectly synchronized. Kira's guards, startled from their sleep, are swiftly and silently overwhelmed. The Ronin fight not to kill indiscriminately, but to neutralize all opposition on their path to one man. With the courtyard secured, they begin their methodical search, sweeping through the mansion room by room. They check every corner, every closet, every hiding place for the cowardly official. But he is nowhere to be found. Finally, they discover him. Not in a grand chamber, but cowering in a squalid charcoal shed, hidden behind a secret panel with his female servants. He refuses to identify himself, but one of the Ronin recognizes the faint scar on his forehead, a permanent reminder of the wound Lord Asano inflicted with his dagger nearly 2 years before. The past and present collide in this frozen moment. Oishi Kuranosuke approaches the captured lord and with the utmost formality kneels before him. He identifies himself and his men and explains that they have come to avenge their master. Then he respectfully offers Kira the very same wakizashi that Lord Asano had used to commit seppuku. He is offering Kira a chance to die with the honor of a samurai. We invite you to perform seppuku. I myself shall have the honor of acting as your second. Die with honor. Take your own life. But Kira, speechless and trembling with fear, refuses. He shows no sign of the samurai spirit, only abject terror. Seeing that Kira will not accept his fate with dignity, Oishi gives the order. His men hold him fast. With a single decisive stroke of the same dagger, Oishi ends Kira's life. His head is severed. Justice, as they define it, is done. Their mission complete, they carefully extinguish all the lamps and fires in the mansion, ensuring no blaze will spread and harm the neighbors. Their quarrel was with one man, not the city. They place Kira's head in a bucket to carry as proof of their deed. Then, as dawn approaches, the 47 Ronin march openly through the streets of Edo, heading for Sengakuji Temple, where their master is buried. They are no longer hiding. They are unafraid, ready to present their trophy and accept the consequences of their actions. The raid is over. Kira Yoshinaka is dead. But for Oishi and his men, the mission is not yet complete. Their final act is not one of escape or concealment. They don't flee into the shadows from which they came. To do so would be to admit their actions were those of common criminals, of assassins in the night. No, their purpose was always to perform a righteous act of justice, and justice must be seen. So they walk openly, a 10-kilometer journey through the waking streets of Edo to Sengakuji Temple. This is the final resting place of their master, Lord Asano Naganori. They are a ghostly procession, their blood-stained armor a stark contrast to the pure white snow. They carry their prize, the head of their enemy, not as a gruesome trophy, but as a sacred offering. Upon arriving, they find a well, and there they carefully wash Kira's head, cleaning it of the dirt and blood of the final struggle. Then, with the utmost ceremony, they place Kira's head on Asano's grave, a final report to their fallen lord that his honor has been restored. They burn incense and pray, their 2-year burden finally lifted. Their duty is done. Now they await the consequences. They send a messenger to the authorities announcing what they have done and then surrender to the shogun's men without a hint of resistance. Their fight was with Kira, not the state. The nation is stunned. News of the night raid spreads through Edo like wildfire. An act of such audacious loyalty, such defiance of the shogun's strict prohibition on vendettas, was unthinkable in this long era of peace. The story captures the public imagination. These men, who had been dismissed as cowards and drunkards, are now hailed as heroes, the living embodiment of the fading samurai spirit. public sympathy surges. The people see in the Ronin a purity of purpose, a commitment to honor that seemed lost in a world increasingly governed by bureaucracy and commerce. This public adoration creates a massive dilemma for the government. Petitions flood in, begging for the Ronin to be pardoned. The shogun, Tokugawa Tsunayoshi, is trapped. By law, the men were criminals. They had formed a conspiracy and carried out an illegal killing. To pardon them would be to undermine the authority of the shogunate itself. But to execute them as common criminals would be to condemn the very principles of loyalty and honor, the core of the Bushido code that the samurai class was built upon. The debate rages for weeks. Finally, a decision is reached, a masterful compromise that navigates the impossible political landscape. The sentence, death, but not as criminals, as samurai. They would not be beheaded by an executioner, a fate reserved for commoners and traitors. They are allowed the honor of seppuku, the ritual suicide that was the ultimate privilege of their class. It was a ruling that upheld the law while honoring their spirit. They had lived as samurai, and now they would be allowed to die as samurai. On February 4th, 1703, one by one, from the youngest at just 15 years old to the eldest at 77, they perform the ritual. Each man faces his end with the same discipline and courage that defined their entire mission. Oishi is last, the patient strategist, the disgraced drunkard, the brilliant leader. His death marks the final closing word of their epic tale. 46 blades fall silent, 46 men who chose honor over life. But what of the 47th? One survivor, the youngest Ronin, Terasaka Kichiemon, was allegedly sent to report their success to Asano's family and to tell their story to the world. While some accounts vary, his role as the messenger ensures the legend will be passed down not as rumor, but as testimony. He is eventually pardoned and lives to a ripe old age, forever the keeper of their memory. They die loyal, their graves placed beside their masters at Sengakuji, forever united in death as they were in purpose. They die free. Free from their shame, free from their rage, free from the earthly bonds of a life without a master. Most revenge is rage, a hot, blinding emotion that consumes reason. This was discipline, a cold, calculated, and unwavering focus held for 700 days. Most revenge is instant, a reflex born of a single moment of pain. This took nearly 2 years. 2 years of enduring humiliation, poverty, and the constant threat of failure. So ask yourself, in a world that prizes instant gratification, that often mistakes noise for conviction, could you have waited? Could you have endured the shame, the doubt, the slow erosion of your own identity? All for a principle? All for justice? The story of the 47 Ronin is more than a historical event. It's a question posed to every generation. If this story of loyalty and legend hit you hard, like this video now. Share it with someone who still believes honor, discipline, and sacrifice matter in our modern world. And subscribe for more stories that shape the world and remind us what true strength, the strength of conviction, really looks like. Because some tales aren't just history, they're warnings about the cost of pride, the rigidity of law, and the explosive power of suppressed justice. They're inspiration, a testament to the idea that a small group of determined individuals can, against all odds, restore a fallen ideal. And this story of unwavering loyalty, will live forever. Thanks for watching. See you in the next legend.